While most of the United States is busy watching the playoff games that are taking place today, the mainstream media is calling it historical and playing up just how important this is to the country. We are here live, and we're going to be discussing what really is threatening this nation, the offshore banking takeover that is allied with the venomous, murderous, communist Chinese dictatorship that is basically taking this country over. An incredible report up on Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. It's also linked up on the DrudgeReport.com. Chinese pianist plays propaganda tune at the White House. This is from the Epoch Times, published in major cities all over the world. And I follow the communist Chinese closely, and this article is stunningly accurate. It's a 11-page article. And we're going to be going over some of it. At a White House dinner, the Chinese pianist, basically chosen by the Chinese government to play, and the Chinese media was reporting on this at least an hour before he played, because it was aired in China, that they were going to play what is known as the Motherland Song, the most popular song in the Communist Party since Korea. The song is about murdering American troops and killing the jackals dead. And then the pianist, who's a popular artist in China, in English, told Phoenix TV, that's the international television network, that this was played especially to let the Americans know that China is the boss. And I have all of the incredible quotes here. So when I told you in the last few weeks that Hu Jintao was trying to rub our noses in it, there's no doubt about this. But, oh, our government's not worried about China. Oh, Iran with their prehistoric military. Oh, they need to be demonized. They need to be dealt with. Oh, yes, sir. Meanwhile, China's been given our missile systems, our fighter systems. They didn't steal any of it because the banks running America for decades have bragged that the 21st century is the Chinese century, and they made a deal with them to be the muscle, both economic and military, to bring the United States down. China wouldn't be a threat if we didn't have traitors running our country that are in league with China. And I'm going to cover that today. We also have the report here. China bank moves to buy U.S. branches. Chinese stealth fighter jet may use U.S. technology. Give me a break. They claim they found it under a toadstool in Serbia. No, it was all given to them. We reported on it 12 years ago at the time. I want to get into communist China. Over 1,100,000,000 people and growing. In fact, I forget the Chinese population. Jaron, will you pull that up for me? Thank you. We can give folks that exact factoid. Of 6.5 billion people in this world, 1 in every 6 is Chinese. And the Chinese people are very diverse political ideas. But if you even try to be a peaceful, non-violent, quasi, not even really religious Buddhist, like the Falun Gong, this is on record, been all over the news for many years, as you know, they take you and imprison you, and then keep you healthy, because they love Falun Gong, because they eat healthy, don't use drugs, and exercise, and then they blood type you, and then sell your organs, and they have mobile execution vans. The Chinese population is 1,331,460,000. Yeah, I knew when I said 1,100,000,000 that they'd recently done a census and it had gone up. In fact, I was thinking 1.3, but it's 1.33 billion. So over 1,300,000,000. And I talked about mobile execution vans. Let's show PrisonPlanet.tv viewers who are watching the TV radio simulcast. Let's search Chinese mobile execution vans. You'll get Times of London, Associated Press. Let's show the young woman being choked for committing a supposedly small crime and being taken to the mobile execution van to have her organs chopped out and then flown to Japan, where wealthy Westerners land to get their organs. The point is, when you don't have a Bill of Rights and Constitution, when you don't have freedom, the armies of corrupt, ruthless, powerful, armed institutions will come and will take your property, will take your life. There's USA Today. China makes ultimate punishment mobile. And that's from 2005. The mobile execution van. You can scroll down and see the mobile execution van there. The point is, I don't want to sit here and talk about China and then have people deny anything I'm saying. Now, every major city has upwards of 14 of these vans. They are gutting people 24/7, and the Communist Chinese inner party is made up of just, in the upper party, a few hundred families. They own the whole country. They live in giant palaces. They do whatever they want, and the global elite love them. George Herbert Walker Bush was flown in the mid-1970s to have them sign on the State Department Memorandum 200, or a secret treaty declassified in 92. And it stated, if you reduce your population, if you have forced abortion, if you have forced infanticide of already born babies, if you accept world government, if you let select Western businesses come in only and do business to shut down our competition in Europe and the U.S. and Canada, Australia, if you do that, and we will let you be at the highest levels of world government. And David Rockefeller has written articles about it in the New York Times, praising Mao. That's in my film Endgame. We actually went to UT and got the microfilm of the articles in the New York Times praising Mao, who killed between 60 and 80+ million. There's debates about it. I mean, this is like saying Hitler's a great guy or Stalin's a great guy. And they made a deal, select Western corporations and banks, to have inside sweetheart deals with China, to only work with them to create mass retailers that nobody could compete with, that nobody could undercut. You know the name of that company. They got 40+% of world retail sales, almost all of it made in China. But they've got big American flags hanging up saying, buy American. It's a sick joke. You've got the symbol of America, but then there's nothing there made in America. Maybe the marshmallows. If you buy some marshmallows or a head of lettuce, maybe it's not made in Mexico. And the Chinese jokingly ship in melamine-filled milk for children formula, and our media comes out, FDA headline, melamine not bad for children. Doesn't matter if it's killing them. Our government just says it's good. I have an MSNBC clip where our media says, oh, lead in toys is good. You can just search the term, MSNBC host, lead in toys is good. Oh, I've got another newscast. Oh, mercury's not bad. You know, we've got to do whatever China wants. Our economy will fall apart if we don't accept their goods. So China has revolts going all over the country. They're taking little poor farmers tiny pieces of ancestral land. Their population hates what's going on. They work with Google and Yahoo and Microsoft to test out internet censorship, which they're now exporting here. I'm going to cover that next hour. Very same systems. In fact, even last year, Australia had the headline, government installing Chinese-style net censorship. The people rebelled. They didn't get it in. But they said, this is the model. This is the Chinese or Singaporean authoritarian model. It's praised. Authoritarianism is now praised all over our own media. They've gone from not criticizing China in the last decade to now praising authoritarianism as if it's getting things done, the inside jobs, the corruption, this tiny communist elite living in giant palaces while people are starving to death. China with no environmental standards, no regulations, while our own government piles more on us, run by the very corporations that own the factories in China. That's how they make sure we can't have business. They put incredible expenses on small U.S. telecommunications, but then signed a deal last week with a Pakistan company to have no regulations on it because the inside ruling political class made a deal to get some money. Just like Obama has given over 500 waivers, this is key, to McDonald's and others, 500 companies plus and growing. Every week it's like 100 and something. I haven't looked at it in the last month. Oh, you don't have to buy insurance for your employees, but the hamburger place next to you does. Oh, you didn't give money to the Democratic Party? You don't get to keep your GM dealership now that we've taken it over. I mean, this is happening in the open. This is mafia protection money. And China is that 300 million slaves. China signed on to the UN operation. China admittedly will take a newborn baby if a mother has it secretly at home and kill it in front of her. Or they will take it, I've seen reports of this, and keep it for live medical experiments. Now, the elite of the West looks at that and says, hey, we like you. You are psychopathic sadist killers. we want to join forces with you to deindustrialize the U.S. while our idiot population's busy getting drunk and watching the NFL football playoffs. We're going to get behind you fully. You want the missile systems, you want the weapon systems, you want the stealth technology, you've got it. You've got it. And again, CFR, Trilateral Commission, just search the term the Chinese century. You'll see them bragging, laughing. The elite that runs this country has always hated you. They hate your ownership of land. Very few places in the world you can really own land. They hate your ownership of guns. You are hated. We are hated. I am hated. And the globalists have merged, have teamed up with China. And now, here's the big news. This is Epoch Times, also up at Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. Chinese pianist plays propaganda tune at White House. U.S. humiliated in the eyes of China by song used to inspire anti-Americanism. This is the song played as the battle hymn during the Korean War. When tens of thousands of U.S. troops died, it is the most popular by the Communist Chinese government. We're going to go over all the quotes. It talks about killing American jackals, our troops. Obama sat there while this was played with pleasure. Think about what it signifies politically that we've gone in just the last decade from the media at least criticizing China's police state to it being fully embraced and China being the biggest owner of our debt. But when you look at the debt, it's not really our debt, and the private central banks have organized all this and teamed up with them. Now, this is from the Epoch Times. It's a syndicated newspaper. It's published in Dallas, Toronto, Los Angeles, New York. It's published, I know, in more than 50 major cities. But I didn't just go off this. I went and did some searching several hours today. I was so shocked by this, and checked the Chinese dailies. Now, China has no media that's not government-controlled and run. They allowed for 2 years a private magazine to run. It was very milquetoast, pro-government. But the Communist Chinese, like all media under their control, because of the power and prestige of those few families, it is hereditary, just like North Korea with a hereditary dictatorship of Kim Jong-il, and now his son. And so they shut it down just a month or so ago. And I went and looked this up, and it does air in China. It's called Phoenix Television, and it was from the White House. Lang Lang is a very popular Chinese pianist and singer, and he gave interviews here, and you can click through and watch him give the interviews in English. And this is the #1 anti-American song in China. Our troops are called jackals, dirty jackals. Kill them, shoot them, murder the Americans. They are trash. Get them. I mean, how beautiful China is, how bad America is. And it turns out that at least an hour and a half, some reports are 2 hours before this even aired, it was on Chinese state-run news. Everybody tune in. We're going to show the Americans. And they played it with Obama there. Now, what did Hu Jintao say 2 weeks ago? He said, we're dumping your dollar. Your dollar's worthless. America's over. Yeah, they got a citizens organization for balancing the budget. In fact, cue up that TV ad that got banned on History Channel and ABC News for me, Jaron, the one we aired earlier in the week, please. A citizens activist group put together a national TV ad that shows a Chinese professor fictitiously, fiction, 20 years from now, in 2030, talking about how America fell because the Chinese bought us up through fraud. That's actually what's taught. They did their research for this ad that U.S. media would not air. And that's how the censorship begins. This is what's really going on. And now, worldwide, they're starting to trade in the Chinese currency to replace the dollar. Hu Jintao has said they want to replace the dollar. Russia has said that. And so has George Soros. So has David Rockefeller. So has Ted Turner. They all hate this country because of the guns and the property and the liberty. And they've tried to weaken you with the sports and the diversions and the drugs and the sex and the porn. And they think they've got you very close. And they're testing right now this humiliation. So this was played at the White House. And I'm going to read the article right now. It's 11 pages long. I can't read it all. But Lang Lang, the pianist, says he chose it. They have links to the video of him saying it. Chairman Hu Jintao recognized it as soon as he heard it. Patriotic Chinese Internet users were delighted as soon as they saw the videos online. Early morning TV viewers in China knew it would be playing an hour or two beforehand. It was announced on TV. As the White House State Dinner, January 19th, about 6 minutes into his set, Lang Lang began tapping out the famous anti-American propaganda melody, My Motherland, which was also made famous in China by the movie The Battle of Shangganling Mountain, or Triangle Mountain. The film depicts a group of People's Volunteer Army soldiers who were first hemmed in on the Triangle Hill and then, by reinforcements arrived, take up their rifles and counterattack the U.S. military jackals. That's what it's called. And I know I'm going to be called unpatriotic for not worshiping the death of our troops. I understand. See, when you actually don't want the troops breathing DU or being experimented on with vaccines, that's unpatriotic. When you just put an American flag out and salute the Chinese and do whatever the government tells you, that's patriotism nowadays. You don't want to really hear about what's really going on. I understand. I'm bad. The movie and the tune are widely known among Chinese, and the song has been a leading piece of anti-American propaganda by the Chinese Communist Party, CCP, for decades. CCP propaganda has always referred to the Korean War as the movement to resist America and help North Korea. The message of the propaganda is that the United States is an enemy and fighting in the North Korean war for the United States. The real goal was said to be to invade and conquer China. The victory at Triangle Hill was promoted as a victory over imperialists. Now, that's one page. It goes on for 11. And they give all these lists of how Hu Jintao, and they brag in their papers, I mean, big papers to a billion-plus people, that, look, Hu Jintao did not bow. Obama did. He did it last year and again this week. Look, our great leader only barely put his hand out. Obama had to reach out and take it. See, it's like when Obama's bowing, he just goes, like kiss the ring, and Obama bows and takes it. And it's all about training us to take anything. TSA sticking their hands down our pants. All of this humiliation, telling us the world financial crisis is our fault when it's the offshore banks that engineered it and bragged. It's all about breaking your will. Austin, Texas started out 2 years ago with the warrantless blood checkpoints. Now they're nationwide. Austin now, the Washington Post reports, started because we're Fed run, with drones watching citizens. That's coming up later. I'm in Austin for those listening all over the world. It's all about breaking our will, acclimating. Because once you don't have any morals, once you don't have any views yourself, once you're an empty consumer, you'll consume whatever they put out, even if it's cyanide. The one thing Americans know how to do now is laugh in the face of truth. If you tell someone something profound and powerful, they laugh. Because that's the instinct of a fool. They've been trained. That's the one thing that gives them value, is that they are such losers, such failures, and never stand up for themselves and buy into every scam. That is the religion of the New World Order, is being fools. The name of the song is My Motherland, originally titled Big River. In an interview broadcast on Phoenix TV in China, the first thing Lang Lang is quoted as saying is that he chose the piece. He said, I thought to play My Motherland because I think playing the tune at the White House banquet can help us as a Chinese people feel extremely proud of ourselves and express our feelings through the song. Yeah, the Chinese people revolting against the tyranny, fighting back with sticks and stones against guns and winning over and over again. There's a huge revolt going on in China. They want to get them all filled through fake nationalism to hate Americans and to feel a false pride so they won't commit suicide in the factories working 18 hours a day building our iPads that then deindustrialize us. He said he felt extremely proud of ourselves and expressed our feelings through the song. I think it's especially good, and I like the tune, and of itself, every time I hear it, extremely moved. He expressed the idea more frankly later on his blog. Playing the song, praising China, to heads of state from around the world would seem to tell them that our China is formidable, that our Chinese people are unified. I felt deeply honored and proud. They played a song saying, we kill the American dogs, we kill the jackals, we kill the Marines, we kill the Army. Go read the text of the song. We will get them. We will cut them all down. We will shoot the dogs. Imagine Obama in Beijing or Peking or anywhere else playing a song about a war that just happened 55, 60 years ago about killing Chinese dogs. Imagine a modern U.S. president playing the old 50s song. I forget who the author was. In 1814, we took a little trip along with Colonel Jackson around the mighty Mississippi. We took a little bacon and we took a little beans and we whooped the bloody British in the town of New Orleans. We fired our guns and the British kept a-coming. There weren't quite as many as there was a time before. We fired our guns and they began a-running on down the Mississippi to the Gulf of Mexico. Old Hickory said we could take them by surprise. That was 200-plus years ago and wasn't calling them dogs if a president played that as a guest of the British. But only Americans will take it. It's politically correct. Oh, our military are dogs you kill? Thank you. You own our debt? You're saying down with America? Down with the dollar? Thank you. Thank you. Americans have been neutralized through political correctness. This is